Yesterday was a strange day for me in watch hunting because I got a triple. I found 3 of the things I was hunting, two of them at absurd pricing, like wonderful pricing, like out of control, I can't believe this just popped pricing. And one of them popped on really great pricing compared to what I'd been seeing on it. And the message for this video is excuse me, my allergies are trying to kill me, especially this early in the morning. The message is be vigilant. Hunting paid off yesterday and hit a triple. And I'm not going to release this video until the stuffs have come in, because, you know, everything looks like a great deal until it's in your hand. But I want to talk about how I hunt and maybe share some of that with you. So, first and foremost, eBay. A lot of people say not to buy from eBay, and I think the real message is be careful. And there's a bunch of things to look out for. You need to find a seller that has got a high enough transaction count to have some real feedback history. You absolutely cannot buy a watch from a seller with 0 next to their name, because those are 99.5 times out of 100 a scam. And then there's sellers who are just starting out selling, that maybe have a lower sell count. But there are a ton of videos out there on what to watch out for. Always stay within the eBay sector. Once you've started there, don't go outside, because people trying to lead you outside usually spells disaster. One of the unusual things is there's a lot of sellers who sell in multiple places. Luxury Bazaar, for example. They've got their own website. They're on eBay. They're on Amazon. They're on, Instagram, Facebook, all over the place, and a legitimate seller. But there are other smaller outfits who will have an eBay store and a brick and mortar, meaning that it's crown jewels, watches, and pawn.com. Like even pawn shops do this. And you can usually tell by their eBay name what, if they are potentially a brick and mortar location, they may have something in the ad. And so if they're selling in 2 places, you might be able to find their same watch listed at that other place, namely a forum or their own website, typically. And that's the first vector you can take to negotiating. I think if you're a high-profile seller, you're only paying 5% fees. When I sell, I'm getting nailed for the 10%. I need to change that. I mean, the eBay fees are just way too high. We know that. So I think I need to adjust that to be a seller account or something instead of a casual one. And the best way is to reach out to them via their website. Now, a strange one, elady.com, one of the Japanese sellers I buy from, they or she sometimes doesn't have the watch listed in 2 places, but moreover than not, it's more expensive on her website, which makes no sense, unless it's because I know they run a pretty vigorous discount program. Like, I think the first time you go onto eLady, you get 10% off when you subscribe. So if you're looking at a $3,000 watch, boom, it's already $2,700. So it's already probably $2,700 on an eBay listing and $3,000 on ours. I think that's the angle of attack. I bought a couple pieces from them. Yeah, the whole Japanese warehouse broker thing is confusing. So many of the Japanese-based sellers have the same items listed for sale. and they've got it for different prices. I still haven't cracked a nut on what's going on there, but I think there's some central repository of watches, and if you're a Japanese dealer, you just go to the warehouse, take your photos or take the stock photos, and bam, you're running it. So that's the one thing, navigate a vector to the seller's brick and mortar. But you have to set up notifications, and you have to set up a broad spectrum for a particular reference. I'll give you an example. Like if I'm hunting a Seamaster, I'll set up a search reminder or search warning for the reference itself. Like 2221.80 for, I forget which one that is. I think that's one of the OG Brosnan eras. Or maybe that's the Brosnan Red Line. I think that's what that is. And then I'll also set up one for, I don't know. It's a better example if we talk about the titanium Seamasters, which I'm totally hunting. I would type in one for the reference, and I would also do a search for Omega Seamaster Titanium. And yes, that one is going to get the book of listings, but sometimes sellers don't know the reference number. They get the reference number wrong, but maybe they'll get titanium right, Omega Titanium. And that is, one way to cast a net a little bit wider to catch the one you're after, and that's worked for me a bunch of times. And it usually helps me catch the fish who don't know as much about watch selling, and maybe they don't put in the effort to determine pricing. But also, newish watch sellers have been trained to expect not to make a lot on a flip, which I'm not looking to take advantage of anyone. It's a matter of, sir, madam, set the price that you want for your watch, and I'll negotiate with you from there. So that's one way. When you find a seller who's, you see dealers, they're hardcore. They're not going to bend a lot. But people who are not in the business of selling watches, you can negotiate them a little bit further. And I always do it politely. Like I said, I'm not going to beat somebody up. I'm going to evaluate a piece on what I feel it's worth in the market, what it might be worth to me personally. And then, as long as you're polite and friendly and not a jerk, and not too crazy of a lowballer, because nobody wants to entertain a Yahoo. Float them an offer. See what they say. And also on Chrono 24, you can also set searches. Same thing goes for Watch Patrol. And so on and so forth. Set up the searches for the reference. I hunt a lot of Omega. I'm an Omega guy. Plus a smattering of other brands. And reference numbers. I'm keen on reference numbers. It helps me laser in on what I'm chasing. So, 3 of my presets popped. One popped earlier in the week. It was an auction from Sotheby's out of Hong Kong, of all places. I'll come to that one last. In fact, I'm going to cut here in case one of these flops, and then I'll reinsert. So one of the ones that popped was for a book, a watch book. I've been talking more and more about watch libraries, and I need to dive into that. Maybe I'll do a big library intro ep and then do the books one by one, like short views. No one wants to. Would you be interested in watching me read a book? Probably not. There's pictures. It was a watch book that I've been chasing for a while, and I figured I was just never going to get it. It's the Grand Seiko Mastery of Watchmaking, or 60 years of masterful watchmaking. It's this big hardbound blue book that is only given away at Grand Seiko boutiques, when you buy a watch, and not just any watch, like a significant watch purchase. Because I went to the boutique in New York. It's a nice guy working there, but he was definitely not interested in giving me a complimentary book. Can't blame him. I think this book's going to be in Japanese, though, because I think it comes straight over from Japan. I don't know that there's an English version. But they've started to show up on eBay for anywhere from $450 to $600. No way, Jose Canseco. No, thank you. Not going to do it. And the stupid thing is, when I was in the boutique in New York, I didn't even have the presence of mind to ask him to let me look through it. Gosh, it was early. I'm not a morning person, in case you hadn't gathered. But I didn't even look through it. I feel like such a dummy. And then shortly thereafter, it started pop. I saw it pop for $450. $450 was the lowest. Now it's at $600. And then because I was searching for Grand Seiko book, a listing popped. $60. Legit seller. I got that those butterflies in me as soon as I saw it pop, because I saw it on my phone, and I was like, what the heck? And I navigated to real quick, just check the listing. I was looking, is it an eBay 00? No. And I was like, go upstairs, buy it. So I ran upstairs to the computer, clicked buy it now, and then okay, PayPal. And then it took an extra 20 to 30 seconds to jack into my PayPal. And I was like, dude, you should just pay by credit card. Someone's going to get it. Nope, got it. But $60. And that's a case of someone who stumbled into an item somehow, somewhere, put it up for resale, didn't check the market. I mean, if he would have listed it for $250, I'd have bought it. $300. Anything over $300, I would have probably said no way, because it's just, I haven't seen it. I'm just hoping it's a lot of pictures, even if it is Japanese kanji characters. But $60. So I was tracking it, hunting, it popped, I didn't hesitate. That's the other part of the message. If you've done your research on a piece, and if you've already made up your mind what your budget is, you set the money aside, you're mentally committed, hey, if this pops, I'm going to buy it at this price. Do your quick checks, but you have to pull the trigger quick. And that was one of the quicker ones I've done. It's also not a lot of money, right? $60. But I still did a quick vet it. And so that's how I started my day yesterday. That was so rad. I was really pleased with that. Next batter up. It's dinner time. I was on the couch having a bite to eat. As my girlfriend said, you didn't cook, you just opened some bags and jars. She's not always right, she's mostly right. But yeah, last night was a bag and jars opening and heating thing. And I'm on eBay and watching YouTube, my favorite pastime. And a watch popped. And it's the Oris Constantine. The Oris Modern Classic. So it's 78.90. It's either 74.93 or 78.93. But it's the watch Keanu Reeves wears in Constantine. Dress watch, about 38 millimeters, gorgeous silver dial. It's got these very unusual numerals that at the 3 and 9 o'clock are sideways, which I thought was a really clever choice by the prop master director of the film, or maybe it was Keanu who chose it, for that particular role, because things were sideways in that film for him. Great watch. That watch must have been, I don't know, $400 at one point, like when it debuted. Or maybe 600 new. But because of its association to the film, it's usually 15. I picked one up years ago. They have a silver one and a gold one. There was a seller out of the UK who had both. So I leveraged the pricing on the silver one downwards and the one on the gold one downwards, but jointly. So the combination deal, I was into both watches for I think under 15, which was a steal. And I was collecting heavy at the time, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to wear these. So I sold them both, made money on both, and regretted it immediately. And started hunting for the silver one thereafter. That's at least 2 years ago. Right now, they're on eBay for $3,500 and $6,000. And then there's a gold one for $2,000. Ludicrous money. I even tried talking the $3,500 guy down. He wasn't having it. And this one popped last night, $800. Again, ran upstairs, vetted it super quick, pulled the trigger, boom, done. And I learned my lesson from earlier in the day. Visa, done, boom, done. Because as soon as it popped, I acted. So, combination of setting the triggers and checking them, right? Although you get notifications by email, but I just happened to be live cruising it, and it popped for me, and it's in great condition. Box paper, strap needs swapped out, but the dial's in better condition than the one I flipped, and I paid less for it 2 years ago before all the madness started in watches. So I was super jazzed about that. Can't wait to get that one. When that one comes back, God willing, when that comes in, that completes my Oris trifecta. I'm gonna do. I think I wanted that watch back partly to do an episode on an Oris 3-watch collection. I don't know. That's probably silly. I mean, I wanted the watch. Before I started making videos. Wanted it back in the collection. So, no, it's legit. But yeah, that's gonna be a fun little video. I think I might start doing triples as a subject matter. Although I don't believe in the 3-watch collection. I believe definitely in the 4-watch collection, potentially 5. And it's dive watch, dress watch, and the third one, right, for me is chronograph. and it can either be aviation inspired or motorsport. And then the fourth watch, most everyone advocates for a knock-around watch. They call it a beater, I call it a knock-around. That's your G-Shock. And there's different levels of G-Shock for different people. And then fifth, wild card, right? Like a wild and out watch that has, maybe nothing else to do with your collection. So I could make the case for a 5 watch. Anything, guys who have 1 or 2 watches and are satisfied, that's something. There's something to be admired about that, if for no other reason than the perspective of that one watch, 2 watch, even if it's 3 watches. Those watches are spending more time with that watch owner and are becoming more and more ingrained in that person's life. Like, oh, I had this watch on when I got married. I got this watch on when little Jimmy hit the home run, and I was there, and I went to catch the home run ball, and it cracked the crystal, blah, 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 It's being written into the fabric of the story of their life. There's something to be admired about that. Expand it a little bit, 5 watches. So I'm going to do a little piece on that, because I love the idea of a wild card watch. It could be anything from a Goonie piece to maybe a colorful swatch to some ridiculous tourbillon, or maybe it's a family heirloom watch, like you got from your grandfather or something. You just don't wear it, but it's it's in your collection. It's a wild card. But that was number 2 on the day. Horace Constantine. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.